deep it, I actually have the life that I've always dreamt of. Like, when I really deep it, like, I make little cuts of videos and stuff, visuals for my business, and I try and draw like all of the highlights, and not to be deceiving, I never want to use it in an unauthentic way that makes it seem like my life is something that it isn't. So, you know, I don't, like, I'm never trying to kind of make it into something that it isn't. But I am just trying to draw all of the things that have been made possible because of, well, just things that are my life. Like, just being realistic about, like, the fun parts of my life. And since doing that, I just realised, like, oh my god, like, I actually have everything that I really dream about. And, like, I know it's only going to grow and get bigger and better because I'm more, I can hold it better. Like, I'm used to it now. Like, this is my reality. Like, I don't know, the ego always tries to play it down, right? So I look at a lot of these highlights and these things within the visuals that I make, and I'm like, oh yeah, but you know, I only went to Bali because my boyfriend took me, or I only was there because this happened or that happened, and I was in it. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it happened, that I was there, that was my reality. I think the ego gets so caught up in the hows and in the tiny details that it kind of strips you from the blessing that is right there. The fact that, like, what you wanted was given to you. If you get so caught up in the hows and the whys, then you genuinely be able to talk yourself out of being grateful for it. And that's the exact opposite of the space you want to be in if you want to attract more of that in. Like, gratitude is the frequency to be vibrating at when you want to just oh my god, I just looked at 111, that's crazy. I'm walking past the house. Yeah, take that as confirmation. But gratitude is the frequency you want to be vibrating at to attract more of what you want. And even if it's not just about attracting or manifesting shit, because these are buzzwords we hear all the time now, and I know it can be easy to roll your eyes when you hear someone say that. But the truth is, like, it's either that or you sit there and you're probably someone that complains about life and complains about the things you don't have, or the things that you do have that you don't want and you want to get rid of. And it's like, what do you want your reality to be at the end of the day? Like, you have that control, that power, and it's the way you look at it. So much of it is mindset, if not all of it is mindset, because if you continue to look at your reality through a negative lens, you're gonna keep feeling like everything is negative, and it's just gonna attract more of that. But if we change the perspective, you just start to notice that the things that you appreciate expand and perpetuate. Whatever you put your focus on, it expands. And what you resist persists. And it's hard when someone just tells you that at first, especially when you're deep in a rut and you have all these attachments and all these habitual rituals and obsessions and compulsions. And of course, like, the world is literally pumping that into you, is pumping this, I need to be comfortable, I need these things, the material, this physical is everything. You don't even understand the layers that you're under, the veils that are, like, over you. You're not even aware of it. So when someone comes and tells you, hey bro, just, like, change your perspective, it can feel like, do you want to punch in the face? Like, And I also feel like I'm someone that's always been very self-aware and always very ready to like go within and say like, okay, what can I do to make this better? And I really still struggle. So it's very, very hard to do. No one's saying it's easy. If anything, it could be one of the hardest things to do, is just this inner work, this inner healing, this inner awareness. But it's not hard because it needs to be painful and cause suffering that never ends. It's a beautiful kind of hard, because when we go through it, every time we put awareness on it and we become conscious of the unconscious, things soften and things dissipate, and the things that you were complaining about and that you found hard, you suddenly see from a completely different angle. Like, you think that you have this perspective or this perception on how you're going to heal the things that you don't like in your life, and it's so narrow-minded. Like, you've got this like perception of like, oh, like, this is really shit in my life, and the only way that it's ever going to be fixed is like this. And it's like, that's how you block yourself from all these opportunities, because there are infinite paths to your blessing. But the divine one, the one that's the easiest, the path of least resistance, is there if you resist it the least amount. You have to just fall into it. And so I've just learned like a lot recently that the tendencies and the laws of like nature and I don't know, all I can speak is from my experience anyway, is that the more I softened into things, just within my internal being and physical being, like just every aspect, the more I've softened, the more I've allowed blessings to flow in, and the more softness I have felt. I think there is such an energy of like tough pressure, like push through, like get on with it, blah blah blah, and it's very, very hard, because discipline is beautiful, and sometimes the line gets blurred of where it goes from discipline into working yourself so fucking hard that you are exhausting yourself and burning out, and probably not even doing what it is that you want to do and that you want to get done. And so it's like, well, where do we, how do we realize when we're going too far? And it's just consciousness, it's just awareness. If you're aware, you can trust yourself to make that decision in every single micro and macro moment, whether you're dealing with something that's internal or external, whatever you're dealing with, you can make a beautiful, intuitive, aware, compassionate kind decision for yourself and for others when you are aware. When you're coming from the heart. But yeah, when there's other things involved, the ego, when there's this energy of like, oh, I'm doing this because I want to be accepted better by others, or I'm doing this like I have to do this, there's a rush, there's this urgency that I need to get this done, like blah blah blah, like, well, this isn't coming from the heart. That's not that softness. And also, I also think that the word soft and the way it makes us feel when we hear things like gentle, softness, like compassionate, kind, we think that like compassion and all these words are weak. Like we equate them to being weak and less able, less capable, or less stable, you know? But it's completely the opposite. Like, it's completely the opposite. It's like this softness is one of the most, it's like paradoxical, Because it's the energy that I'm thinking of, that this softness is rooted with a deep, strong foundation. And that's what allows you to be soft. It allows you to flow, because you know that you have this strong connection, this strong connection to source and your sense of self. And yeah, you're more deeply rooted. Whereas a lot of these people that are overcompensating in every aspect, trying to be physically strong. So many bodybuilders have this, or like gym people that are just obsessed with going to the gym. It's like, okay, you can say that you love to exercise the body. That's amazing. Exercising the body is beautiful, but sometimes it gets to a point where, again, it's like, where's the line? How much of this are you unconsciously overcompensating? And you wouldn't think that you were overcompensating if you weren't aware. But it takes real trust, and like I said, it's not easy to be aware and to go into the depths of yourself and ask yourself, why do I do what I do? Why do I feel how I feel? Why is my life my life? Because when you ask these questions more and more, when you do have that awareness as often as you can, it does make sense. You suddenly understand that the cards weren't just dealt to you. They were gifted to you. And everything in your life is there to teach you and to provide the exact amount of resistance that you need to then use to strengthen the parts that you actually asked to be strengthened, to evolve, to grow, and never to take you into a dark place that you can't get out of. It's always elevating you more into softness, more into the light, more into a connected, grounded space. And whenever you go into the darkness, again, it's a gift. The darkness is not something to be scared of. It can be confusing, but don't allow the ego or anything else to scare you whilst you're in the darkness, because the darkness is a teacher. Without the darkness, we would just have light, and we would have nothing to differentiate each light. We need that distortion that gives us different shades, different colours, different textures, different frequencies and vibrations and contrast, because it's in that we understand ourselves better, we make sense, we make stories, we make love. Because without that, everyone's so scared of the dark, yeah? Like when we die, they're like, oh, it's just darkness when we die. But we're not scared of the light, but the light is the same, bro. Like, because without the dark, you just have light, it would be just light. Right? Just light, that's all you got. I don't know. There's just no point in being scared. Anyway, the point is, I don't know what the point is. I'm making lots and lots of points, and then losing the point that I first had. I'm just letting myself flow with it, to be honest. But yeah, look, this is just to say life is not easy, and I know that. But just keep bringing yourself back to consciousness. And if you don't know what that means, and you don't understand what that is, sit with yourself. Sit with yourself. This isn't just some bullshit like, I know like how spirituality, and I say that with like in quotation marks, because it's just like, even I'm bored of that word, because it's overused in a way that doesn't actually resonate at the frequency of what it is. It's become a thing. And spirituality isn't a thing, it just is. It's just what you are at your core. And so everyone hears this word and they go looking external for all these things. They equate that word to yoga, which they think is just some physical stretches on the body with some nice gentle music on a mat. Or they'll try all these different modalities in the hope that they're becoming more spiritual or more centered or more. And the truth is, you don't need any of those things. You don't need them, but they're there as guides, and a lot of them derive from really old ancient scriptures when the world was more connected to source and was more vibrating at a higher frequency. And so they can be used as guides, and different they're like different teachings and modalities that really help us become more centered, and we're allowed to hold space for ourselves and others to come back to center, because it's very hard in the world we live right now, where everything is just hustle and bustle, and like we've lost touch with how to center ourselves, how to ground ourselves, how to come back to this awareness, this consciousness, this like is. If you're not resonating with what I'm saying, it is because you genuinely have not come into your center right now. And whereas if you feel what I feel, you'll feel it almost burning in your heart. You'll feel heard. You'll feel understood. You'll feel like, yes, like it's like, this is life. Like, this is the freshness of life. It almost gives me, like, when I talk about these things, it just makes me feel like a kid again. Like, I just feel connected. I feel connected to the trees, the grass, the water, just life. Like, you feel this freshness, this openness that you forgot you could even feel. And so many things that you've experienced along the way just start to distort and affect the way that you perceive life. And it happens so gradual. That's what life does. It's so gradual. All these things happen. You're not conscious of them. And without that consciousness, they just happen. And so it becomes autopilot. It becomes default. It becomes just... It's your neurological pathways within your brain. Like, no one's blaming you. It's your life. Like, you literally are on this path because this is the exact path that you needed to go down. And so no one's blaming you for what you've been through. But you have to understand that things change when you place your focus and awareness on them. Not when you ask someone else to see what's going on in your life. Not when you need validation or proof from anyone else. When you do that journey, it's a solo journey. You'll always be supported. And if you move with authenticity and in your truth and within your heart, you will attract your tribe around you, your people that get it, that resonate with you at your frequency. You'll attract everything you need to walk this path alongside others, but it ultimately is a solo path, an individual journey, and it's a beautiful one. It is scary at times. For me it has been. For me it's been scary when I do really, really seek that support from others. But the darkness always taught me something. I never came out feeling lost. I always learned something that helped me feel found, even more found than I ever was before. So, yeah, let's tie my shoelace now. Okay, I'm back at home in my garden now. I just want to carry on from where I left off and say that, people use these modalities and they're using them just to strengthen their ego, just to improve the physical, just to feel better accepted. Like, oh, look at me, I just did Pilates, or I did a meditation today. And it's like, you want to feel better accepted or stand out as a leader, which is just further feeding the ego, which is the opposite of where we're trying to get. And the ego isn't a bad thing, but we want to be conscious of it and how much of it we're letting run the show. We can use it sometimes. That's another thing I want to get into with the ego, because we always hear things about ego death, and when we ain't trying to kill our ego. The ego is literally what gives us the ability to experience reality, and yeah, it's used in everything we do. But yeah, it's just moving with discernment and with love and from the heart. And if you feel completely lost and stuck on how to do that, then I promise you, if you at least have just a very wish or hope to do it, then it will become your reality. Just trust in the timing. And don't just sit there and wait for it to go wrong or for nothing to happen, because the ego wants to just prove that it's right. So sometimes you're just waiting, you're expecting the worst outcome, the outcome you don't want to have, even though you're hoping and praying that you'll get that money or that job or that freedom or whatever it is that your heart is craving. But then the ego is still in control because it's waiting for it to go wrong. It's expecting that bad outcome. And so you sit there and you're waiting for it so you can justify and prove that it's right, and justify the stories that the ego tells you that hold you back. So don't wait for that. Expect doubt and confusion and suffering. Expect things to take a turn. That's life. There's going to be phases that you move through, and of clouds of confusion and of waves of doubt, and suffering is inevitable. Accept it, because honestly, the better you accept it, the less resistance and suffering that you're going to have to put yourself through. Life isn't easy, but there are people, this is the beautiful part, there are people that can help you in those phases. And the person that can help you the most is yourself, because that's exactly when you're going to grow. When you show up for yourself in those moments, that's where you learn the lessons, and you strengthen the relationship to yourself and to source, when you trust yourself. Some people were brought up in environments that really allowed them to already have that trust ingrained. But I wasn't, and a lot of us weren't. So we move without this trust for ourselves, to think that what we're feeling and sensing is right. But if we look outside of ourselves and we go external for the answers, when they're already in us. And nothing I'm saying is anything that I've ever heard anyone say, and then I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm wrong, they're right. Then we just go with that. Are we better accepted in society now? No. Everything I'm saying is truth that I feel deeply in my soul, in my heart, that I've either come to the conclusion from contemplating with awareness, meditating, or receiving downloads in breath work or in life, or that I've heard other people speak about they've only just brought me back to a space of remembrance, because it's all stuff we already know. Nothing's new here. We know this, we just sometimes need to be reminded. So just keep trusting yourself, keep leaning in, and I promise, as scary or as dark as things are, maybe you're at the beginning of your journey and you're stuck and you have no idea where to go. Maybe you're halfway. Maybe you've been on this journey for a long time, and it's just having that reminder in the moments where you know that you're not going backwards. You've come so far, but you're just like, fucking hell, can I catch a break? Like, it's about remembering that this is life and this is how it be. So just focus on the next step. That's all you need to think about moving forward. Just the next step that the foot takes. You don't need to look so far ahead that you forget that you're here, right now. But yeah, to come full circle, I'm just grateful for everything that I have in my life and the journey and these moments of clarity and trust.